Hi, it is Lily, and in this video we'll be swatching some inks I have acquired recently. First off, we have Birmingham Pen Co.'s Sarsaparilla. It is in a 30ml glass bottle. It looks like a brownie kind of color with quite a bit of shading as well. Really beautiful, like some kind of hot cocoa color. I am swatching in my Midori MD grid paper notebook, and so far I think I like Midori better than Nordstrom, which I was using before. I'm almost finished with that one, so I thought I would start this one. I'm here in Australia and Milligram had a sale recently, so I picked up this notebook. I think I made a good choice. The paper is kind of ivory, but it's still whiter than, say, like Rodea's kind of ivory shade. So hopefully this is a true representation of what the inks look like. And I am using my glass tip pen to write the words here, and for the ink swatch I used the end of a broken glass tip pen, but then to kind of make the circle thing I used like a travel sample thing I got for free, like a face serum thing, and I just wash and dry that out, and I think it makes nice little circles there. And I think it's a really good way to see the inks as well. So I will be swatching like that for all of these other inks that follow. I'm swatching 9 inks today, so this is the first one. We have 2 more Birmingham Pen Co. inks, and then we have some Robert Oster as well, a TWSBI, a Monteverde, and lastly a Colour Traveller one. Next up, we have Birmingham Pen Co.'s Rotten Seaweed. This is also in a 30ml glass bottle. This is what I imagine Inaho to look like. I've never tried it though, so if you have both, let me know. But yeah, Inaho by Palette Erishizuku looks beautiful. Unfortunately, as we know, it is discontinued. I don't know how legible it would be for me, as I do prefer like saturated inks. I do appreciate shading, but I know I don't appreciate it as much as other people. I like consistent writing, like when you write and all the words kind of just look the same kind of opacity, I guess. But I think shading is still very beautiful, and that's the kind of fun thing about looking at fountain pens and fountain pen inks, seeing what goes with what as well. I think for my preferences, I would prefer this in a medium nib, but we'll see how we go. And as you can see, the lid of this one has a little label thing already. So I purchased all of these on the secondhand market, and the lady before me, she had already labeled these ink bottles. So I'm thinking maybe with how she stores her inks, she's doing that so she can better know what she has, which is a great idea, and then saves me from labeling it as well, which is awesome. But I don't think I have as many inks as her, so I kind of know what I have generally as well. But also, I haven't been collecting, or I haven't been using fountain pens as long as a lot of other people. So this one is Polar Shadow, also by Birmingham Pen Co. It is a lovely dark blue green kind of color, as you can see here. It looks super saturated, my kind of color, and it has some sheen as well. The other two, they didn't have sheen, definitely shading, but this one, there's a little bit of sheen to it. Hard to tell what kind of sheen, but it's definitely there. I do really love my saturated colors, and I look forward to using this one in the pen. And so this one is the last of the 3 Birmingham Pen Co. inks that I acquired. They are also the only 3 that I have. I've heard that it's been quite difficult to acquire in Australia, and I think it's just because it's made in the US and we don't really have distributors for it. I've heard that the inks are also really beautiful and they work great as well, so I'm pretty excited to try these inks. And to be able to purchase on the secondhand market has been a great way for me to reduce the cost of purchasing and trying out things as well. So I really do enjoy that. Also a lot more environmentally friendly, I think. And it means that people who have already enjoyed using it can pass it on after they no longer need it as well. This one is Robert Oster's Choc Pudding. It is in their classic 50ml plastic bottle. This one is a like chocolate pudding kind of brown color. There is some shading from what I can see. So a lovely color there. I think, browns are a color that I wasn't really into until maybe more recently. I really appreciate them as being a really great formal alternative to use. I think I did get into my blues a lot more. Blues and greens, I think, but brown has definitely been something that I've gravitated towards, and so I think this is going to be a good one. I don't have many browns, so I think Birmingham Pen Co.'s Sarsaparilla and this one by Robert Oster in Choc Pudding would be great additions to my brown little stash. But yeah, I do try to curate my collection. I know it is hard just because there's just so many inks out there as well. I do know that I don't need all the inks, but it is very difficult to, I think, resist at times, particularly when they're so pretty. Also, buying inks is a lot more affordable and a lot cheaper than buying pens, but also I think the fun with pen and ink combos as well, seeing what you like and doing that kind of thing. Do you stick to certain pen and ink combos or do you switch them up? I do a bit of both. I think there are some pen and ink combos that I love, and also trying to discover other pen and ink combos is also quite fun exercise as well. Next up, we have another Robert Oster ink. This one is Astro Quiza Rot. It is in the 50ml bottle as well. And if you've seen my other videos, I like the combination of Astro Quiza Rot and Direct Sun. I previously received this ink in a sample vial, and I loved it. It was kindly gifted by someone who sold me some things, and I really enjoyed using it. I had poured it into my Direct Sun ink vial, and so it made a really nice dark reddy orangey kind of color. This by itself though definitely looks a lot more red. I don't see any orange. I'm a little bit disappointed because I do like my oranges. I don't have a particularly large collection of orange, but I think reds are a little bit harder to use, particularly for what I need fountain pen inks for. I don't shy away from it, but I do not gravitate towards them as much. I think I would still enjoy using this one though. It's not particularly bright. There looks like there is a little bit of sheening there. I don't know what kind of sheening, but it is there. It's a dark kind of color, and yeah, I think I'll enjoy it. It looks good for maybe autumn or winter. Next up, we have Robert Oster Silver Dawn. This is in a 50ml bottle. It has some shading and it is supposed to have some like shimmer as well. I did shake up the bottle before I did the sample, but you can't really see it. I actually think I prefer it without the shimmer. I've heard that Robert Oster shimmers can clog up your pen, and the lady who sold this to me told me that she's actually never put it in a fountain pen ink before and has only used it in a dip pen. So I'm thinking that probably has a lot to do with the shimmer, right? It looks really nice though, so maybe I can risk it and like maybe not shake it up and use it. But yeah, this is a beautiful purple. Again, purple is another color that I've been drawn to more recently, but I don't have a lot of them. And this one is TWSBI Midnight Blue. It is in an 18ml glass bottle. This one is really lovely actually. Looks like a classic blue with some red purpley kind of sheen. Looks lovely, and it's hard to see from the swatch here that I make because it's still wet, but on the dry down there is some lovely sheening there when you write with it. So I am drawn towards inks that are quite saturated. I think this one might be it, but maybe with a more broad nib, because there is some shading in the ink pool there. So I don't know how it would go in a fine nib. In a medium nib, I think the shading would show up a little bit better to my preferences. But yeah, lovely. I haven't heard too much about TWSBI inks, so I'm pretty excited to try this one. And 18 mils is a pretty good size. I think like Pilot Air-Shizuku's 15 mils are like the perfect size to try something out, because even after you use it a few times, there's still so much left. And this 18 mil bottle is a similar size. And this one here is Monteverde in Ocean Yaw in a 30ml glass bottle. And the opening of this is huge. So I think if you have some really chunky pens, it would actually be really good to have like a bigger opening like this one. So there is some sheening here. It looks quite nice. My first and only Monteverde ink as well. This one's a really lovely color. I've heard mixed reviews about Monteverde inks, so I thought I'd just get one. There is no mold or anything that I can see in it, but I think I was reading online on Reddit or something about people experiencing some like inks going bad, and I was pretty terrified because that could ruin your pen. So I haven't put this in a pen yet. I think I'll try to put it in like a cheaper pen and see how we go. But like looking into the ink bottle, I don't see any mold. If I do, I'll definitely like throw it out and I won't use it. I don't think it is good risking a little bit of ink to like ruin your pen. Not at all. And lastly, we have Color Traveler. This one is Miranda de Rumba Red. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, I have no idea. My one and only Color Traveler. Actually, yeah, the last three, TWSBI, Monteverde, and this Color Traveler, I only have one of each of these brands, and I think it's a good way to dip into and try some inks, because you know the formula is different. They might go differently with different pens and stuff like that. But there, this one's a really bright red. It looks like there's some shading there, which is quite nice as well. A really vibrant kind of red. Like just looking at it now, to me it does look very similar to Waterman's, what's the red that they have? I can't remember. But like that basic red ink that Waterman has, that was one of the first bottles of ink that I got. And I don't have all of the Waterman inks, but I do have a few just because they're quite basic, quite affordable, and quite wet, and they flow really well as well. So this one, the color does remind me a lot of that Waterman one. This appears to have a lot more shading though, I think, so it does look a little bit different. But yeah, this looks great. It's in a glass bottle, and the bottle looks quite nice and quite unique. There's like a ribbing on the bottle lid there, if you can see, and yeah, it's just really nice. I'll see how it goes in a pen. This would be fine in a fine nib. I don't think I need to put it in anything broader to make it legible. So I look forward to using this one day as well. So maybe next month or something. I do want to have more variety in my currently inked pens because I just skew so much towards blues, but I think I did pretty well with my April lineup if you saw my last video. So here I'm just showing you the inks. This is Sarsaparilla by Birmingham Pen Co. We've got Rotten Seaweed, also by Birmingham Pen Co. The bottle's really beautiful and look at the label, so nice. And this one is Polar Shadow, also by Birmingham Pen Co. So they look really nice all together there, and I'm stoked to get my hands on them. Next up we have Robert Oster Choc Pudding is this one. So yeah, looks great. I look forward to using it. And next up we have Astro Quiza Rot. So yeah, a bit disappointed that this is mostly red, but I did that to myself by, you know, falling in love with the combo with Direct Sun, I think. And the last one there, Silver Dawn as well. And yeah, the last three, TWSBI Midnight Blue, beautiful frosted glass bottle, Monteverde Ocean Noir, also in a glass bottle. And then this is the last one, Color Traveler, in this lovely red color. So here is a close-up of all the inks we swatched today. Beautiful colors in my opinion. I can't wait to try them all, and as you can see, I think the colors go pretty well together. It's kind of like a moody autumnal kind of color. It is quite cold here where I am in Australia, so I think it fits the vibe quite well. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.